Kirei na hitotachi, konnichiwa, James desu. Man, that gets a little bit easier every time. Hello beautiful people, my name is James and welcome to my YouTube channel where we talk about life and look at it from a biblical perspective. It's February, which means that Valentine's Day is coming up. I know you guys got plans and dates, you know, things coming up. Hold on a second. Oh man, I should have put this one silent. Hold on, sorry. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of recording a video right now. Sorry, it's the girlfriend. Yeah, no, I can, oh, what do you mean that I can't get a chicken platter if it's only for one person? No, I can get something else, yeah. Yeah, I'll just take a regular chicken sandwich, no pickles, and a large fry. Yeah, my usual, yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. No, you hang up. You. They hung up. In the last video, I talked about the book of Genesis and what it means, you know, the things that come with believing that God created everything and He formed everything at the beginning of the world. And I said that I would talk about something else in Genesis that meant a lot to me, and that is the story of Jacob. I want to start off by asking you a question. I know I usually do this at the end, but I surprise you. I switch things up. And that question is, what does your name mean? I don't know if you've ever done this before, if you've ever gone to Google and looked up your name and the meaning, and you know, maybe it was something cool, maybe it was something lame, but you should find that out. So in the story, we have a mother and father by the name of Rebecca and Isaac, and they have two twin boys by the name of Jacob and Esau. In the story, Esau is the older brother of the two, and as he's being born, Jacob is coming out behind him and he's grabbing his heel. And in this whole birthing process, it's prophesied that the older one will serve the younger. Esau is going to end up serving Jacob. It's a little weird because in the Bible, the older one always got he always got the first rights to everything. So it's weird in this story that the older brother is serving the younger one. It's important because in this story, back in the Bible, being born first actually meant something. It meant, you know, you got the nicest clothes, the nicest shoes, you know, Jacob was gonna get the hand-me-downs. He got the nicest he got the new J's. Like when he was done with them, like he would hand them down to Jacob. Jacob would get the old scuffed up J's after Esau was done with them. Like it was a big deal being born first. So as these two boys grow up, Esau becomes one that likes to be out hunting. He likes to be outside. He likes to, you know, like, I don't know, build tents and fish. You know, he's like the outdoorsy type. You know, he's probably got some muscles, some definition. You know, he's got broad shoulders. You know, he's probably what you call like a man's man. On the other hand, Jacob liked to be inside. I'm not sure what he was doing. Like maybe he was learning how to cook. He was learning how to clean. You know, he didn't really, you know, have a tan. He's probably paler than Esau. You know, he was that kind of dude. He was just inside for most of his life. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with either one of these two boys doing their thing. Like, you know, Esau, you know, was outside. Jacob was inside. Like, it's perfectly fine. Where we have a problem is with the parents, because the Bible says that Isaac favored Esau and Rebecca favored Jacob. I kind of imagine like Rebecca, you know, she would spend more time with Jacob, and they had this close relationship. They would talk more, and she probably like didn't really talk to Esau so much. And the same between Isaac and Jacob, like they didn't really talk a whole lot. But when it came to Esau, Isaac was like, Esau, yo, you my boy. Like, you know, I like how you bring in the fish and the meat and you build the tents, like you take care of the house, like you the man. Isaac, he's becoming an old man now and he's about to pass away. So it's time for him to pass on the birthright. Who does the birthright go to? Esau, right? You know, he's the older brother, you know. First things first, it goes to him. So Isaac calls Esau into his room. He's laying on his bed and he says to Esau, hey, you know, I'm old. I'm about to pass on to the next life, and you know, I want to give you a blessing. So go out, you do some hunting for me. You know, get some game, bring it back, make my favorite meal, and you know, I'm gonna give you a blessing. Like it's gonna be great. Meanwhile, Rebecca's dropping in on this conversation, and for some reason, she's not happy with Esau getting the blessing from her husband. So she goes to Jacob and she says, hey Jacob, I want you to go out and I want you to get some goats. I want you to bring them back. I'm going to make my husband's favorite meal and he's going to give you the blessing. Jacob says, well, what about, the whole hair thing? Because Esau, he's a hairy dude. He was outside. I don't know. I guess it was the sun that made him grow like unnatural amounts of hair. And Jacob, he was inside. So I guess, I don't know. He didn't have a whole lot of hair on his skin. And so he says to his mom, if my dad touches me, he's gonna tell that I'm not Esau, because Esau's hairy, I'm not. And the mom's like, no, it's okay, like just do what I say and everything's gonna be fine. So basically she concocts this plan to make her husband's favorite meal so that he can give the blessing to Jacob, even though he is the second born and he shouldn't be getting the blessing. So you look at this family. You have a father that favors one son over the other. You have a mother that favors one son over the other. You have a mother that's betraying her husband. And oh, by the way, Jacob took Esau's birthright. So like he kind of like tricked him, almost quote unquote tricked him. But it's for lack of a better term, this family's dysfunctional. This family is messed up. Jacob goes out and gets the game. He brings it back to mom, who makes her husband's favorite meal. Jacob brings the favorite meal to dad, and dad gives him the blessing. Oh, by the way, because Isaac is old, he can't really see all that well. So it wasn't really all that hard to fool him, because when he goes out to touch Jacob, he feels the hairiness. Because what had happened was, mom took the game. It was goats that she cooked. She took the hair from the goats, put it on Jacob's arms. When Isaac reached out, he felt the fur and he was like, oh yeah, that is my son Esau. Boom, I'm gonna give you a blessing. And and that was that. And that's how Rebecca and Jacob tricked their husband and father. It's a daggone shame. So after Jacob gets the blessing, he leaves the room, and not soon after, I'm sure they saw each other, they probably made eye contact. Esau walks into the room and he looks at dad and he says, hey, can I get my blessing? Like he has food in his hand. He made food for his dad. He says, hey dad, here's food, can I get a blessing? And Isaac's like, I gave you the blessing, bro. Like who are you? And that's when he finds out that he's been betrayed. And it's just a really sad moment if you read it. Like I get a little sad, because like it's sad. It's a terrible moment because Esau is just like, he's crying and he's weeping because he wanted the blessing. It's the only blessing. He can't get another one, and it just seems like a desolate situation, I guess. It just seems really sad. Esau finds out, about the whole situation. He's mad. Like he's livid. He's like, I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm about to end this dude's life. He about to catch these hands, and he about to get all this. We fast forward now. Jacob has a few wives. He has a bunch of kids. He has livestock. He's got the goods. He's got it going on. And then he finds out that Esau is coming his way. And now he's freaking out. He's like, man, he's gonna destroy me. He's gonna kill me. I'm gonna catch those hands. Like, my life is about to be over. Like, I'm done. So what does Jacob do? He does what he does best. He comes up with a plan. He comes up with a scheme to get out of catching those hands. So what Jacob does is he divides up his livestock. He says, I'm gonna send some livestock out with a servant. It's gonna meet Jacob, and the servant's gonna say, hey, this is some livestock. It's from your brother Jacob. It's from your servant Jacob. It's cool, man. Like, yeah, how we cool now. Like, yeah, Like, he hopes that by sending this peace offering, that Esau won't be as mad when he finally sees Jacob. So Jacob is splitting everything up, and at one point he walks his family across the river. He leaves them there. He comes back, and he's like, I'm gonna sit here and like I'm gonna wait for Esau. Like I'm hopefully it won't be as bad, but I'm gonna get what's coming to me. Nighttime comes, Jacob's laying around, and this man comes and he starts wrestling with Jacob. Like, he starts getting into a fight. I don't know what happened between Jacob being inside and like him now, because like he's actually holding his ground against this guy wrestling with him. You think about somebody being inside, he's not working out a whole lot, he's cooking, he's cleaning. I don't know what kind of stuff he was doing, what kind of chores was, but apparently the dude got buff. The dude got buff between then and now, because he's wrestling with this dude and he's not backing down. It gets to the point where the guy that was wrestling with Jacob, he says, like, look, let me go. The sun's about to come up. I need to get out of here. And Isaac's like, I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me. Like, I got you in the grip. I got you in that L. Like, I got you in the full Nelson. Got you half Nelson. Like, we got wrestling moves right here. This is like WWE. Like, man, I really wish I could think of a Bible wrestling pun right now, because this would be really good to go right here. Jacob says, I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me. But then the man says, what is your name? I don't know why. I don't know why the Bible doesn't say why he asked his name. So here is my speculation, right? If you look at what the name Jacob means, you find out that it means supplanter, or one who grabs the heel. And you see how in the beginning where Jacob grabbed Esau's heel when they were being born. They see this is connections, homie. So if you look up what the word supplanter means, you find out that it means one who takes the place belonging to something else. And now you see how this whole naming of Jacob, it fits. Like, Jacob is like walking under his name, essentially. Like, he's grabbing heels, he's tricking people, he's lying, he's thieving, he's scheming, you know, he's doing all these things that are worthy of his name. Jacob responds, he says, my name is Jacob. And the Bible doesn't say why this whole thing goes down, why he asked for his name. I think that it was so Jacob could kind of see himself. It was kind of one of those reflection moments where you realize where your actions in life have gotten you. The guy's asking him, you know, not only his name, but he's asking him who you are. Like, who are you? He says Jacob, but like in Hebrew it means, you know, supplanter. So like he's saying like, oh, I'm a supplanter. I'm a liar. I'm a cheater. I'm a thief. You know, like that's who I am. And the man responds, no, you're not going to be Jacob anymore. I'm going to change your name to Israel, because you fought with God and you fought with men and you've won. The name Israel means to fight with God. And this is where the story means so much to me, because my name comes from Jacob. If you look up what the name James means, it'll say something along the lines of like connection to Jacob or something. My name doesn't mean anything, but it comes from like being derived from Jacob. There's this one time I wanted to look up what my name meant. I did it for the first time. And you know, I found out what it meant, you know, Jacob, supplanter, da da da, and like I was like, man, my name is so lame. That's not what I was expecting at all, but it fit, because growing up, before God, growing up, I was nothing but a liar and a cheater and a thief and a schemer. You know, it was what I was good at, and it was how I got by. And you know, when I was afraid, I knew how to lie well. When I wanted something, I knew how to get it. You know, whether it meant hurting people that was close to me, you know, or you know, anything along those lines, like I was willing to do it. I read this story, and to me, it's about someone who was a liar and a thief and a schemer, and God reached down and made him into something great. I didn't have cancer that was healed. I didn't have a broken arm or broken leg. I didn't have a near-death experience and then decide to follow God. I realized how much God loved me and how wretched I was and how messed up I was and how much I needed God's love. And, you know, there was no physical healing, but there was a healing in the heart. And I think that's just as miraculous as anything physical, as any, you know, near-death experience that causes a person to run towards God. I think it's just as wonderful, and I think it's, you know, worth praising as much as anything else. I love reading this story because, you know, it just means that there's hope for anyone. You know, when people say once a liar, always a liar, once a cheater, always a cheater, that does not work in God's world. That does not work in the Bible, because God sees broken people and he says, I'm going to make them into something great. I'm going to use them for my glory, and I'm going to do things that they never thought they could ever do. You know, You know, I relate to Jacob so much for that because of his story. And I'm glad that God put that story there so someone like me could read it and you know, find hope. That's why that means so much to me. I wanted to share with you, not only because of Jacob's story, but because of the story of his family. You see that they're dysfunctional. You see that one father favors one son, one mother favors one son, the mother betrays the father. And I read that and I'm like, that's so relatable to 2018. How many families fit that mold where one sibling isn't as close to the mother or the father as another, or there's favoritism, or there's betrayal between the spouses, and you know, the family is just broken and tattered, and then there's unforgiveness, and there's pain, and there's hurt, and there's all these things that are tearing a family apart. That's so relatable. And you know, so you can read this story and know that there's hope. Because by the way, Esau finally does meet up with Jacob, and even though Jacob thinks that Esau is mad at him, Esau is not angry at all. Like, he let that go, I don't know, somewhere along the way, and I guess he ended up forgiving Jacob. And you know, they have this peaceful reunion, and they hug and they kiss, and it's beautiful. And there's forgiveness. You know, where there was once unforgiveness and pain, there's now forgiveness and healing. And with God, that change is able to happen. And at the end of Isaac's life, the Bible says that Jacob and Esau buried their father together. No matter how bad things start off, once God enters in, there's always the opportunity for things to end in a great way, in a beautiful way. I just wanted to let you know that there's hope for change, and that your right now doesn't have to be your forever. And if you would just put your hand in the hand of God and trust Him and follow Him, He will lead you to be something that you never imagined being. And He will do more with your life than you could ever imagine. This is the part where I end the video. Thank you so much for watching this, for coming through and spending time here. I hope that this wasn't a waste of time. It was cool standing here, being vulnerable with you. I hope that it gives you something to think about, and I hope that it gives you a different perspective on God that maybe you didn't have before. All right, so I got 3 questions for you. What does your name mean? Does it fit you? And do you believe in the phrase, once a cheater, always a cheater? Or once a da-da-da-da-da, always a da-da-da-da-da? Does that make sense to you? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until next time, Jesus loves you, I love you, Agape ga Shorty. Mata ne!